There is one important truth about our body that people often realize too late. The heart can work tirelessly for many years, but one day it starts to show signs of alarm, and we wonder why it happened to us. The reason is usually the same: the vessels are tired, their permeability is impaired, they have lost elasticity and become fragile. In such a situation, any movement, every walk, even the simplest emotions become a true trial. I am a doctor with over 30 years of experience. I have
I
seen
just
people
feel
change
so
their
much
habits,
better.
flourish, and regain
I
their
told you
youth.
he was the.
But I also saw the other side:
There are
those who
so
ignored
many of
simple
them.
advice, and their lives turned
How
into an
can this be
endless
right?
series of doctor visits, pill taking, and imposed restrictions. It's hard to look into the eyes of those who
I'm sorry
say,
to have to tell you
"Doctor,
this, but
why didn't I
my
know
test
this
results
sooner?"
came back
So I
positive.
decided to record this conversation so you can learn what truly works. Now, I will tell you about something that many underestimate. At the end of this video, I will reveal to you the most important and simple thing that can change your life. This is what I usually only
I
tell
have
my
friends.
closest
Must be very
patients,
difficult
as
for
it
you.
helps the heart function like a clock. Why is the theme of vessels so relevant in mature age? The fact is that until 40, the body can forgive much. We can eat anything, sleep little, and endure stress seemingly unaffected. However, after 50, everything changes. Every dietary mistake, sleepless night, and tension leaves its mark. Vessels can be compared to pipes in a house. As long as they are clean, water flows freely. But once they get clogged, the problem starts to grow. I will tell you a story that impressed me greatly. One day, a 68-year-old woman came to me, complaining of constant dizziness, ringing in her ears, and weakness. She was prepared for serious diagnoses and heavy medications, but we started with a simple bowl of porridge. She didn't believe it. "Doctor, can porridge really help the vessels?" But a month later, she came to me and said, "It's as if the fog has lifted from my head. I feel alive again." That's what simple food can do if you know which one to choose. I beg you, don't ignore this. We tend to think that everything complex, but in medicine, it is often the simple things that have the greatest impact. The heart and blood vessels are not abstractions. They are our life, our energy, our memories, and emotions. Now I have a question for you. Do you allow yourself to enjoy life as you did in your youth? Or have fatigue, shortness of breath, and heaviness in your chest become your constant companions? Consider this. The joy from simple things like walks, conversations, and grandchildren's smiles directly depends on how your heart works. And at the end of our conversation, I will reveal a secret. This is not an advertisement for some miracle remedy, but knowledge tested by time and practice. I share it only with those who are ready to listen to the end, for it may become your protection against heart and vascular diseases. So don't leave. Believe me, it can change your life. As we age, our perception of life changes. As we age, we become wiser and calmer, starting to appreciate many things much more than in our youth. However, with this process, our bodies also change. If before, hearts coped with sleepless nights, stresses, and heavy loads, after 50 or 60 years, every little thing begins to affect the condition of the vessels. I often explain to my patients, imagine that the vessels are the roads along which life flows. Blood carries oxygen, nutrients, and energy. But if the roads are clogged, movement stops. The same happens with blood vessels. Cholesterol gradually deposits on their walls, plaques form, and blood flow slows down. This does not happen in one day. It is the result of many years of bad habits, diet, and stress. You know what is surprising? A person does not feel the problem for a long time. The vessels can endure. They constrict. Alternative pathways open. The heart begins to work under increased strain. And only when it becomes really hard does a person start to notice symptoms like shortness of breath, dizziness, memory problems, and constant ringing in the ears. All of this is a signal that the roads have long needed repair. In my experience, psychology and physical state are closely linked. When a person lives in constant stress, the vessels constrict. When he feels resentment or anxiety, the pressure jumps. And if he is always in a hurry and eats on the go, the blood becomes thicker. In mature age, this is especially dangerous as the body is no longer as flexible as at 30, and every mistake has a much stronger impact. I strongly urge you not to ignore these signals. How many times have I seen the same picture? A man works his whole life saving energy for later, and when the time comes to enjoy freedom, his health fails him. all because he didn't take care of his vessels in time. Let me tell you about a case. I had a patient, a 70-year-old man who spent his whole life in business, always in a hurry and living on edge. He preferred fast food, often heavy and greasy dishes, postponing porridge for later. But in old age, he came with complaints of headaches, forgetfulness, and heart problems. After examination, we found that the vessels in his brain and heart resembled old rusty pipes. It was then that he first wondered, why hadn't he taken care of this earlier? However, even at that age, simple changes in habits helped him feel significant relief. Just a few adjustments in diet, including that very porridge, which I will describe later, improved his condition greatly. Why does nutrition play such an important role? The fact is that blood vessels are formed from what we eat. If the diet is high in fats, sugars, and salt, the vessels become brittle and the blood thick. But if we choose simple, natural, and fiber-rich foods, the vessels seem to get a cleanse. They gradually free themselves, becoming more flexible, and the heart functions more easily. That is why I always emphasize that the wisdom of mature age lies in the ability to let go of stress and hustle, replacing them with conscious choice. Nutrition is not punishment, but a tool that can gift us additional years of life. Now I will smoothly transition to the next topic. With age comes wisdom, but it can be enhanced by the right attitude towards life and some simple habits. In the next part, I will share with you the first specific recommendation that promotes the cleansing of blood vessels and the normal functioning of the heart. This is a simple solution and an accessible product that anyone can afford. And what is especially important, you will be able to try this tomorrow and feel the difference. So, the first recommendation that helps cleanse the vessels and ease the heart's work is to include oatmeal in your diet. Yes, oatmeal, which many underestimate. But do not overlook what I am about to tell you. I assure you, this simple habit can fundamentally change the quality of your life. Why oatmeal? It is rich in soluble fiber, acting like a gentle brush for the vessels, binding excess cholesterol in the intestines and removing it from the body. Imagine that every day you help your vessels cleanse themselves from within. In my experience, people who start eating oatmeal at least every other day notice positive changes within a few weeks. Blood pressure normalizes. The mind becomes clearer. Energy appears in the mornings. This is not a miracle, but physiology. Clean vessels ensure free blood flow, which, in turn, brings oxygen to the brain, strength to the heart, and lightness to the body. Let me tell you the story of a patient to help you understand better. A 74-year-old man came to me with complaints of weakness, headaches, and fluctuating blood pressure. He had already been taking medication, but there was little improvement. I suggested a simple solution, to start each morning with oatmeal. At first, he smiled and said, "Doctor, are you joking porridge against vessels?" But after 3 weeks, he admitted, "I get up easier, my head doesn't hurt, and even my mood has improved." It is important to note that oatmeal should not be sweet, not from instant packets, but real, cooked in water or milk, without sugar, with the addition of berries, nuts, or honey. Such porridge is truly beneficial for the vessels. And here is a simple action you can try tomorrow. Cook a bowl of oatmeal for breakfast, add a handful of berries or a piece of apple. Enjoy it slowly with a cup of warm tea. It won't take much time, but it will be a small gift for your vessels. Try it for at least a week, and you will feel the difference. I urge you not to postpone this. Every day you choose heavy, fatty food over light and healthy options, your vessels deteriorate a little. And every day with oatmeal is a step towards clean arteries and a healthy heart. Moreover, when you eat oatmeal in the morning, you set the right nutritional mode for the entire day. Blood sugar levels stabilize, and you crave less sweets and unhealthy foods, which means less excess weight and less strain on the heart. And now pay attention. In the next recommendation, I will talk about what helps not only the soul, but also slows down brain aging. This is not only about vessels, but also about clarity of thoughts, memory, and concentration. What many begin to lose after 60, but it can be preserved and even improved. While oatmeal helps cleanse the vessels and eases the heart's work, another recommendation concerns what helps keep the brain sharp and slows its aging. These are regular walks in the fresh air at a moderate pace. Now I will talk about something that is often underestimated. People often believe that intense workouts, gym sessions, and serious strain are necessary to maintain health. However, this is a misconception. For middle-aged people, Regular and gentle physical activity is much more important. A leisurely walk of 30 to 40 minutes outdoors is more beneficial than an hour of intense exercise. Why is this so important? When you walk, your muscles work gently, your heart pumps blood evenly, your vessels expand, and the blood becomes oxygenated. This nourishes the brain, renews the cells, and improves memory. It is a natural process that allows the body to function as a whole. I often talk about how movement is a medicine that is not sold in pharmacies and is completely free. From my observations, people who continue to walk every day live longer and feel happier. They experience strokes and heart attacks less frequently, their sleep is deeper, and their mood is calmer. I recall a woman who was 76 years old. She came to me complaining of forgetfulness and headaches. We changed her diet and added a simple habit, a walk after dinner, at first 15 minutes, then 20, then 30. After 2 months, she said, "Doctor, I feel like my head has become lighter." These are words I hear quite often. Scientific studies confirm these observations. Scientists have proven that regular walking reduces the risk of Alzheimer's disease by tens of percent, improves heart and lung function, and acts as real gymnastics for the vessels, circulating blood throughout the body with each step. And most importantly, it's accessible to everyone. Don't spend money on subscriptions or complicated gym equipment. Just go outside and take a walk. Make walking your ritual. You can play calm music or simply enjoy the silence. And remember, it's better to walk slowly every day than to run once a month. Try a simple method. Set a goal of 3,000 steps a day. It's not much. About 20 to 30 minutes of walking. Start with this, and in just a week you will feel your breathing become steadier, your mood improve, and your sleep become calmer. In my experience, people who maintain the habit of daily walks feel energetic even at 80 years old. And you know what's most surprising? They say, life has regained its flavor. But there is another aspect that is often underestimated, and it can seriously undermine health if ignored. I will discuss this in the third piece of advice, where there will be not only a recommendation, but also an important point, without which all efforts may be in vain. Now, I want to draw your attention to something that many underestimate, which can negate all your efforts, even if you eat oatmeal in the mornings and walk every day. It is about salt and hidden salt in products. The third recommendation concerns monitoring salt intake in your diet, especially when it becomes excessive. I insist, do not ignore this issue. Salt seems completely harmless, a pinch in soup, a bit in salad, a piece of cheese or sausage. But in reality, it is the main enemy for blood vessels. Salt retains fluid in the body, raises blood pressure, and overloads the heart, making blood vessels fragile. Her treachery lies in hiding within food. Even if you don't add salt to your meals, you still get it from bread, canned goods, cheese, and sauces. In my experience, people who reduce their salt intake by at least half start to feel positive changes within a few weeks. Swelling subsides, pressure stabilizes, and the heart begins to work more calmly. Let me tell a story about a man who turned 66 and had loved salty foods all his life. Herring, sausages, pickled vegetables. He was convinced that food without salt has no flavor. As a result, he developed high blood pressure and heart failure, taking handfuls of pills. When I convinced him to at least try to reduce his salt intake, he was surprised. "Doctor, will this help?" he asked. A month later, he returned and said, "For the first time in many years, I wake up without heaviness in my head. That's what it means to give the vessels a rest." The explanation is simple. Salt makes the blood thicker and more viscous, as if a too dense liquid was poured into the pipes. As a result, the vessels are working at their limit, and the heart is under strain. If nothing changes, the risk of stroke or heart attack significantly increases. Therefore, the third recommendation is to reduce salt intake and avoid products where it is hidden. How to achieve this? Do not add salt automatically. First, taste the food itself. Remove the salt shaker from the table. It may seem trivial, but it really works. Pay attention to packaging. Many sauces, bread, and sausages contain excess salt. Replace salt with herbs and spices. Dill, parsley, basil, and turmeric add flavor and are beneficial for the vessels. And here is an emotional warning. It slowly but surely destroys health. Pressure does not rise all at once, but gradually. And many think, what does an extra pinch mean? But this habit undermines the health of the vessels over the years. So I strongly urge you to start right now. Do you know what is surprising? When a person stops consuming overly salty foods, the taste of food changes. Apples become sweeter, vegetables richer, and bread more fragrant. The body seems to return to a natural perception. So, 3 simple steps that connect everything. Morning oatmeal for cleansing the vessels, daily walks for the heart and brain, and salt control. This is protection against high blood pressure and heart overload. These 3 steps allow the vascular system to function freely and the brain and heart to feel young. Now, the most important part. I promise to share with you what I usually only share with my closest patients. The time has come. In conclusion, I will reveal to you a secret, a small but very powerful ritual that helps the vessels and heart function like clockwork even in mature age. We have walked the path of 3 simple but extremely important steps. Let me gently remind them once again. Oatmeal in the morning is a natural brush for the vessels, which removes excess cholesterol and helps the heart work more easily. Walking outdoors and natural gymnastics are simple and accessible methods that help improve vascular and brain function, slowing the aging process and restoring mental clarity. Monitoring salt intake, protecting against high blood pressure, swelling, and heart overload are not medications or magical remedies, but basic habits that, when combined, create a system capable of granting additional years of life. But these are not just years, but years filled with joy, energy, and lightness. Now I will tell you about a small ritual that I recommend to my close patients. It is so simple that many laugh at first, but it helps the vessels and heart function like clockwork. It is about breathing. Every day, in the morning or evening, take 3 to 5 minutes to sit quietly and breathe as follows. Slowly inhale through the nose for 4 counts, hold the breath for 2 counts, and then smoothly exhale through the mouth for 6 to 7 counts. Repeat this 10 times. What happens at that moment? The vessels relax, the heart begins to beat more evenly, pressure decreases, blood is enriched with oxygen, and the body receives a signal that everything is fine. This is the key to a long and healthy life. In my experience, people who start practicing this habit notice improved sleep quality, more stable mood, and reduced anxiety. Just a few minutes a day provide the heart with the necessary rest. In addition, I would like to suggest a few simple habits that complement this theme well. Thank life every day for at least one small thing. It strengthens mental health. Smile more often, as a smile relaxes the vessels just as well as a walk. Drink pure water to thin the blood and ease the heart's work. Communication with loved ones, filled with warmth, prolongs life just as well as medicine. Allow yourself small joys, whether it's a book, music, or a juicy fruit. These are all medicines, but for the soul. Take care of yourself. Your time is valuable at any age. Remember, even small steps can significantly improve your life for the better. I urge you not to postpone. Start from tomorrow. Add oatmeal for breakfast, take evening walks, reduce salt in your diet, and spend 3 minutes on breathing exercises. Try it for at least a week, and you will notice a difference. Write which of these tips resonates with you the most and what you will try first. Share this information with your loved ones and friends so they can also receive such support. Your heart deserves a calm and rhythmic functioning, like a clock, and you have the right to a light and happy life.